What is up, YouTube? Thank you for clicking on another one of my videos. If you want to support this information, spread it to other people on YouTube, hit the like button. You can always undo the like at the end of the video if you don't appreciate it. So I host these live call-in radio shows where anyone can call and ask me questions. I don't give financial advice. I just give advice. I've spent a lot of time researching the Hex and Pulsechain ecosystem. I'm not an expert, but for someone that's new to this ecosystem, I can get them up to speed a little bit quicker. Okay, but like every video about crypto, this isn't financial advice. It's just advice about financials. Exactly. So a big question that people ask about when they call into the show is, I have some liquid Hex now, or I have some liquid crypto right now. Should I buy Hex or should I wait until Pulsechain comes out to get Hex? So I have a little presentation. Let's just get right into it. So what is Hex briefly? You got to start at square one. Hex is a better version of Bitcoin. All right, this is how Richard Hart has described it in the past. And it's a really good way to describe it because people know what Bitcoin miners are. Everyone's familiar with Bitcoin. Hex just does what Bitcoin does, but better, okay? Proof of stake versus proof of work. In Bitcoin, you have to use electricity. You have to use a mining rig. In Hex, there's no electricity needed. You just stake your Hex and you are the miner. Stakers in Hex are like miners in Bitcoin. However, in Bitcoin, the miners have to sell the Bitcoin that they mine to pay for their power and to pay for their mining operations. So Bitcoin miners, they have a lot of costs, right? Energy is not cheap. And then once they get the Bitcoin from the computer, they have to sell it to pay their bills, their electricity bills, and their mining rigs. Selling is what hurts price. So the innovation in Hex is that without having to buy a miner, you can be the miner in Hex just by staking, by locking up your Hex. And Hex stakers don't hurt the price by selling. They actually earn compound interest. So every day at 8 p.m. Universal Time, I get paid. If you're a staker, you get paid. Everyone who's staking Hex gets that daily payout at 8 p.m. Universal Time. And it's compound interest. The great quote about compound interest, I forget who said this. Those who understand compound interest earn it. Those who don't pay it. Okay? There's that great book, I think it's called something about Babylon. Kingdom of Babylon, or the King of Babylon. But it's essentially talking about having your money make money. Is your money making you any money while you're sleeping? Because if it's not, then there's an area for you to improve at. All wealthy people, or the majority of wealthy people, their money is making them money. And once you get to a certain level of wealth, that's how you can basically live. Of course, you need to do something. If you don't do anything, you must be bored in life. But being financially free and getting the decision to do exactly what you want to do, not what you have to do to pay your bills, is life-changing. So compound interest is one of those ways to get to financial freedom. So strategy one, okay? And you can't see this on my screen. There you go. Wait till Pulsechain launches and buy, okay? A lot of people have been thinking, I'm just going to wait till Pulsechain launches and then I'll buy cheap PHEX because PHEX will be cheaper. In reality, no one knows what the price of Hex and Hex on Ethereum and Hex on Pulsechain will be, but one could assume that eventually they will reach parity and they will be equal, because if they're not, then people will just arbitrage. They'll get the Hex on Pulsechain and they'll sell it on Ethereum. But ideally, they will be pretty similar in price. So why would you do this is my first thought. Wait till Pulsechain launches and then buy Hex. Why would you do that? When Pulsechain launches, you will get a free copy of all your ERC20s. Okay, ERC20s, fancy way to say any smart contract on Ethereum. And all ERC20s are just basically smart contracts on Ethereum. Hex, it's a smart contract on Ethereum. So, since Hex is an ERC20, every Hex bought before the airdrop, you can consider a 2-for-1. So if I bought 10,000 Hex tokens today, I know in a month or 2 months, whenever Pulsechain comes out, and we're getting very close to that Pulsechain launch, it might only be another 4 weeks. Whenever it is, a month or 2 from now, if I buy 10,000 Hex today, I'm going to get that airdrop when Pulsechain comes out. So one could think of that as 20,000 Hex tokens really, because you're guaranteed the 1-to-1 copy of all your ERC20s, not just Hex. Hex is the most popular one in this ecosystem. But if you have Chainlink, if you have Mana, Shiba Inu, all those are ERC20s, and you'll get copies 1-to-1. Okay. Strategy 2, buy Hex now before the Pulsechain snapshot. My camera's a little bit in the way. Buy Hex now before the Pulsechain snapshot. Okay, wait, so what even is the Pulsechain snapshot? You may already know about this, but I'm just making it super noob friendly. So the Pulsechain snapshot is going to happen on a random date. We don't know the date. Richard Hart has not said the date, because if he did say the date ahead of time, people might load up or manipulate the market a bit to game the airdrop. So the airdrop is just going to be announced, the snapshot for the airdrop, which is basically when the snapshot is when they look at all the wallets on Ethereum, and whatever you have in your wallet at that block, at that minute in time, they'll take a snapshot, and then when Pulsechain launches, whatever you had in your wallet at that date, you will get. When Pulsechain launches, whatever tokens you had in your wallet on XYZ, a random date in the future. We don't know the date, but it's going to be coming up soon, because Pulsechain's only 4 weeks away. 4 to 8 weeks, you know. We don't have a set time on it, but this is the first time Richard's come out and been this bullish on Pulsechain being ready to go. Now, the only thing that you won't get a copy of is ETH. Ethereum is not an ERC20, okay? It's actually not even Ethereum, it's Ether. ETH is Ether. And you will not get a big airdrop for Ether. Ether, if you have 1 Ether or 2 ETH, like $6,000 of ETH, it's only 2 tokens, right? $6,000 though, it's not a nice chunk of money. You're only going to get 2 Pulsechain tokens for your 2 ETH, right? Because we're trying to dilute the Ethereum whales and not reward the people with thousands of Ethereum, because they're already rich, they already have tons of money, they don't need it. We're only airdropping 1-to-1 the ERC20s. So don't hold just ETH in your wallet expecting to get a fat airdrop, because ETH is not an ERC20. ETH is the transactional token that facilitates operations on the Ethereum network. But Ether is not an ERC20. If you hold $3,000, 1 ETH, you're going to get 1 PLS. PLS is going to be under a penny. So for holding $3,000 of value in ETH, you're only getting under a penny. Why would you do that? Well, that's because Richard Hart doesn't want people to be holding ETH for the snapshot. We're trying to target the ERC20 communities. So yeah, any ERC20 you'll hold, you get a 1-to-1 copy. Hex currently is at 12 cents. Going on here. Hex is currently at 12 cents. Not financial advice, but when investing in assets, it's good to buy things that are in the red, not when things are at all-time highs in the green. You know, you want to buy when something is at a dip, because that's a discount. As long as you are bullish on the thing and you think it's going to go back up. You don't want to buy it at a dip if it's just a rug and it's going to zero. Like a lot of these NFT play to earn tokens. You just look at them over time and they hit this all-time high and they've been downhill forever. X's previous all-time high is 55 cents. That was 6 months ago, maybe 7 now. And Hexicans, or people that have Hex, have never been in this much of a bear market. We have never gone 6 months without bullish price appreciation. This has been the longest bear market yet. And for that reason, it's causing people to be a little bit alarmed, because this has not happened in Hex before. Hex is still outperforming Bitcoin. If you look at Bitcoin's first 2.5 years, it's still outperforming Ether. If you look at Ether in its first 2.5 years. So there's not really any case to be worried, but people are just used to Hex pumping so much. And a lot of people, unfortunately, did buy Hex at 55 cents, and they could be down a lot right now. However, me and a lot of other Hexicans were obviously bullish on the project, and I do think that it will go up eventually again. Another thing about this 6-month bear market we've been in is Pulsechain is kind of a, not a black swan event, but it's a, it's something outside of the Hex ecosystem that is affecting Hex. When the Pulsechain sacrifice happened last July, and then the pulseX sacrifice happened this past December, you can see on the price chart of Hex, big changes. And I think Pulsechain and pulseX, these sacrifices, caused a lot of this different market structure. And so that could be why we're seeing this 6-month long bear market, excuse me, because Pulsechain is a It's not the first 2 years of Hex. There was no pulse chain. There was no pulse chain. So basically, what I'm getting at is the reason we could be in this bear market is because we saw a crazy pump in 30 days. Hex went from 10 cents to 55 cents. 30 days. That's crazy gains, and people are going to take profits, right? A lot of that gains to 55 cents was because of pulse chain as well, in my opinion. And so I don't think this is a source of FUD or something we should really be worried about, because Hex went up 10,000x from its lowest point. Anything that goes up that high, people are going to sell. Not everything goes up forever. Dips are in the game. This is one of them. And if you're thinking about getting Hex right now, not only is it on sale in an 80% dip, but you have that 1-to-1 copy coming with pulse chain. Rich people care about yield on their wealth. They don't really care about like multiplying it. If you have 10 million, 50 million, 100 million, you're less concerned about multiplying your money and more concerned about maintaining it and just growing it, whether that's 5%, 10%, 20% a year. Really good saying that a caller on my last stream did. He said that rich people care about return of their investment, not return on their investment, right? They just want to get their money back and then a little bit on top of it, because once you have a lot of wealth, it's less about growing it and it's more about maintaining it, right? Hex is made as a smart contract certificate of deposit. It has immutable code where every day at 8 p.m. you get paid out your yield based on how long you're staked for, right? How long in the future are you delaying gratification, and how much money are you staking, right? So Hex is really the bread and butter. If you're talking to people who are just looking to make a yield, which is hard in the traditional finance world right now, Hex is the poster child for that. It's great at return of investment, and the price has gone up a ton as well in these first 2 years, which makes a lot of people think, oh, I've missed Hex. It already did too many gains. It's already done 1,000, 2,000x, whatever. I bring people back to Bitcoin in 2012, right? It went from pennies to being $50 or $100. A lot of people looked at Bitcoin in 2012, 2013. We've missed the gains. It's already happened. But when you look at inflation, when you look at what's going on in every pretty much major currency in the world, I get nervous when I think about the global macroeconomic situation, because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, and I hope it ends well. I don't know how it will end. There's a lot of unprecedented stuff going on in terms of inflation and how much money's been printed just worldwide. And people are looking at digital assets as a way to kind of hedge against this, what we're realizing is a BS financial ecosystem, right? We can print money forever out of thin air, and there's nothing backing it but the fact that everyone believes it's valuable. And crypto adoption still worldwide is so low. Hex in the crypto niche only has about 90,000 stakers. You have shit projects like SafeMoon, Shiba that have over millions of holders. And then you look at Hex, what it's done. Not only is the price appreciation amazing, the passive income from the staking is amazing, and it's still a super small community, only 90,000 stakers. 90,000 people is a lot, but in a world of 7 billion people, not really. Then you consider we have Pulse Chain coming out, right? And fun fact about Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain was created as a solution for Hex users, right? Richard Hart said from the inception, if Ethereum fees become unusable, if Ethereum is too difficult to transact on, I will make my own blockchain. It got to that point, and now he's doing that. Pulse Chain will be beneficial for everyone that uses Ethereum, but the reason that we're even at this point is because of Hex. Hex is the 10th largest consumer of gas fees. Last year, Hexicans spent over $20 million just on fees for Ethereum. Okay? Richard Hart wants people to keep their money, not spend it on stupid things like fees. Hence why we have Pulse Chain. The gains in Pulse Chain will help Hex. The top 1,000 sacrifice wallets of Pulse Chain own 72% of the supply. Okay? To be in the top 1,000 Pulse Chain sacrifice wallets, you needed to sacrifice a minimum of $168,000. Okay? People that are putting $168,000 into something that's not even out yet, right? They're investing essentially into an idea. These people have extreme confidence in Pulsechain. And how many of these top 1,000 wallets have Hex or saw what Hex did and want to mimic that in Pulsechain, right? It's very good that the whales in this ecosystem have a large concentrated portion of the supply, because these people believe they're willing to invest a low six-figure amount, which in crypto, depending on who you speak to, is a little or a lot. I would say it's a lot of money. These people are very bullish on the project. They're not going to be looking to sell their pulse for a 1x, a 2x, a 3x. These people are in it for the long haul. They're whales. They're smart money. And because of that, as these profits come into Pulsechain, as it goes up insanely, which I believe it will, people are going to look at Hex as the store of value, right? Even if Hex goes sideways and it never goes above 10 cents, it's 10 cents forever. The fact that you can still get anywhere from 12% to 38% APY on your money is the number one selling factor of Hex. The price appreciation just magnifies your compound interest. And there's countless people who started staking a year ago, and now the interest they're making on their stakes is crazy. Anywhere from thousands a week to tens of thousands a week. And I just wanted to make the point that as Pulsechain grows, as pulseX is successful, this whole ecosystem revolves around Hex. And a lot of these gains, I believe, will go into Hex because it's the premier store of value in cryptocurrency. And that's all I got for you guys. Subscribe if you're new. If you're still watching the video, comment below computer. I just like to see who watches the full video. So if you're still watching, comment computer below. Helps the video out a lot. And I appreciate the loyal supporters that watch the whole video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great week. God bless you all. Until next time.